We've already had at least one Pinocchio movie in 2022. So what's one more, right? Netflix now brings us Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It's available now, so should you be watching? This stop-motion film reimagines the classic Carlo Collodi tale of the fabled wooden boy with a whimsical tour de force that finds Pinocchio on an enchanted adventure that transcends worlds and reveals the life-giving power of love. Alright, so truth be told, I can't stand Disney's Pinocchio. Not the live-action remake that we just got, I didn't even see that one, but I don't like the animated one at all. It's sad, creepy, disturbing, and it's just not something that I enjoy. So when I heard this one was coming out, I wasn't head over heels excited to watch it. But then when I heard that Guillermo del Toro was involved and that this would be stop motion, I was way more intrigued. I mean, still not excited, but at least curious. So first off, the animation is breathtakingly awesome. I forgot that it was stop motion at points with how fluid a lot of it looked. There is stunning creativity and vision that brings this to life. And I'm not just talking about the wooden boy. The animation almost becomes seamless, like it's not stop motion at all, but just a fluid 3D animated feature. The movements are executed well, and I really enjoyed the use of shadows and the lighting effects with how they work to impact the emotion of a scene. The story provides incredible amounts of backstory and context to how Pinocchio is created and then his journey as a living puppet. I mean, the setting was actually a bit surprising to me as it's taking place in Italy as one of the world wars is ramping up, or at least it feels that way as we see Mussolini being the guy in charge. But the way we go about seeing how Pinocchio comes into being, I mean, even why he was carved in the first place, it's terribly saddening. This is a very dark tale, and it really delves into the grief and loss that Geppetto feels. Honestly, this isn't really a kid's movie at all. Yeah, there is wonderful animation that will draw them in, but the actual story content, it's quite mature and heavy, with so many themes of loss, parental expectations, war, death, and sacrifice that's presented in obvious and pointed ways. I think there also should be a trigger warning about loss in this, especially if you're a parent who's lost a child. This will be a very tough movie to experience. There's a segment in here that really just concentrates on Geppetto's grief, and it's heartbreaking. I mean, it felt a bit like the scene in Hereditary, where Toni Collette's character is wailing and she's just inconsolable. Now, despite the overall sadness and melancholy to the story, there's also some whimsy and fun that's present as well. When we first meet Pinocchio, there's this musical sequence that has a massive similarity to The Nightmare Before Christmas, when Jack first encounters at Christmasland. Now it's fun and it's catchy, and also shows us the wonder of the world as Pinocchio sees it. Now as far as the character designs go, these are very creative. But at points, the eyes of Pinocchio, they're somewhat dead and lifeless, which makes his appearance unsettling. Now this does change as he grows in personality, which creates a spark of life that's visible in his wooden eyes, but still, at the beginning, it's a little creepy. Now the talking bug is also designed really well. Yeah, I do know that he's a cricket and his middle name is most likely Jiminy, but in this we just know that his middle initial is J. But he's voiced by Ewan McGregor, and there is a certain level of sarcasm that's present, along with maybe just a bit of curmudgeonly old man thrown in that makes him fun to watch and listen to. There are several songs performed in this, and the songs are catchy, even though they're filled with melancholy at times. The score is enveloping, and sometimes it's whimsical, and other times it's mournful. Each time, though, really enhancing the scenes and making them more emotionally engaging. There's also a song that Pinocchio sings that is totally 12-year-old boy mentality, and is probably going to make any kiddos listening just giggle at the words that he uses. Now, if you're a fan of the Disney animated classic, there are a lot of elements that are shared, but there are also quite a few differences. But they both share in the dark tones and the sadness. Something I really did enjoy, though, while watching this version is the redemptive arc. It feels very earned and in line with the character growth that we witness throughout. Now, I've already mentioned Ewan McGregor, but the voice cast is awesome to hear as they give the characters life. Now, some recognizable voices are Ron Perlman, Christoph Waltz, and David Bradley, as they have very unique qualities to their voices. Now, when you reach the end of this movie, it has the potential to make you smile through tears. And note that if you have encountered loss, this could be a very tough watch as it just effectively captures the rawness of grief, but also the joy of love and life. Now, for me, this isn't a movie I'm ever going to revisit. I loved the character and the story development that build out a very full and rich story, along with deep characters that feel very real. The animation's also stellar, and it really showcases what can be done with stop motion and how impressive it is. But the sadness and the melancholy of the story, it's just not something I enjoy. It's executed very well here, and it creates an impacting and lasting tale, but it's just not for me. Luckily though, I can separate my taste from the overall quality of the film, and this one is really something spectacular. So overall, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is a masterfully animated feature with strong voice talents and imagery that is just breathtaking. The character growth is palpable and engaging, with arcs that feel justified and earned from the journeys. And while the overarching grief of the story may not be for everyone, there is a beauty within the sadness that is lasting and captivating. There's no sex or nudity, a tiny bit of profanity, and then some violence. I give Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio 4.5 out of 5 couches. So what's your favorite stop motion film? Let me know what it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.